Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 5th of March 2024. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover the most important articles from the newspaper. And these articles are from the editorial section of the newspaper. So let us quickly see the list of articles that we are going to cover. And along with this, today we are going to discuss about India's three-stage nuclear power program. Alright, so along with this, let's say we are running all India Tucker test series, and so we are going to cover PT mock test. So there will be 5 tests under this test series, and this test series is known as Panch Sutra test. Okay, so the dates of the Panch Sutra test are available over here in the screen. All you can do is you can go ahead and register for the Panch Sutra test. This will help you to test your understanding related to the prelims exam. So with this, now let us see the list of articles that we are going to cover in today's newspaper analysis. So we will cover all these articles that are mentioned over here. Along with this, we will see a place that was mentioned in news. This is known as Angkor Wat temple. Okay, so we will understand about this temple also. So now, so this is the topic that was in news today. It was in the international edition of the Hindu newspaper today. So in the newspaper, they have mentioned about this temple, which is known as Angkor Wat temple. So where is this temple located? This temple is located in Cambodia. As we know, Cambodia is a South Asian country. So it is located to the eastern side of India, right? So this is Cambodia. So in Cambodia, they have this Angkor Wat temple. Angkor Wat temple is located over here. Now the question arises that what is the nature of this temple? Is this temple a Hindu temple, or it is a Buddhist temple, or it is of some other type of temple? So basically this temple has been built in 12th century, okay, in the 12th century, and this has been built, let's say, as a Hindu temple. So initially, while it was being built, thousands of people, let's say, were involved in making this temple. So initially when this temple was made, it was for the let's say worshipper of Hindu religion. So this was for the worshipping of Vishnu, right? For worshipping Vishnu. But later on, this temple has been converted into Buddhist complex. Okay, this temple has been converted into a Buddhist complex. And apart from this, this temple is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, this is also important for you to remember that it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, UNESCO World Heritage Site. So that's also important. So this has been built by one of our, one of the king who belonged to India. But this temple has been built in Cambodia. Okay, long back. This is the thing. So with this, now let us talk about the first article. So good evening. Thank you so much, Vidya, for joining. So we are going to discuss about this topic. It says the status of India's nuclear program. Alright, so in this article we will understand about 3-stage nuclear program in India, and we will understand what these stages mean, right? What is the significance of these stages? So basically, India's nuclear program has been envisaged. It has been, let's say, visioned, right? So by Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha. So Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha was a person who was instrumental, right, in India's nuclear program. So in India, we do have, let's say, an organization which is known as Bhabha Atomic Research Center, right? So this has been named after Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha. So Homi Jahangir Bhabha has outlined a plan for India to have its nuclear power program, and that is known as the 3-stage nuclear power program in India. So in that 3-stage nuclear power program, basically he discussed about different stages in which, let's say, nuclear power installations will be done in India. So initially we have thought of building those nuclear power, let's say, reactors that will be known as pressurized heavy water reactors. So in stage 1, we have planned for pressurized heavy water reactors. So you need to remember that in all the nuclear power plants, right, in all the nuclear power plants that we operate in India, we carry out nuclear fission reaction. So what happens in nuclear fission reaction? Generally a big atom, a big nuclei is, let's say, like, you know, goes through a fission reaction, because it is bombarded through the it is bombarded through neutrons. So it breaks into, let's say, two atoms, and then it releases huge amount of energy, and that energy is used for generation of power. Okay, that energy is used for generation of power in India. So in the 3-stage nuclear power program, basically they have envisaged that initially we are going to use pressurized heavy water reactors. So in the first, right, what they have discussed, what they have thought, that, like, you know, we will use pressurized heavy water reactors, and here they will use uranium-238, which contains minuscule amount of uranium-235. So here it is important for us to understand that in case of nuclear power plants in India, the nuclear fuels that we are using, right, the nuclear fuels that are used in the stage 1, right, so in stage 1, the nuclear fuels that are used are two types. One is uranium-238 and a small amount of uranium-235, and these nuclear fuels are used in a setting of, this is known as pressurized heavy water reactors. Okay, pressurized heavy water reactors, okay, PHWR. Then when we talk about stage 2 of the 3-stage nuclear power program, right, when we talk about stage 2, in stage 2, basically, like, we want to use a different type of fuel altogether, and in this article they have mentioned about that fuel, that which fuel we want to use in stage 2. So in stage 2, India will use plutonium-239 together with uranium-238. Okay, so we will use plutonium Pu-239 and uranium-238, right? These are the fuels that will be used. Plutonium, Pu stands for what? Plutonium, and U stands for uranium. Okay, U stands for uranium. So the kind of reactors that will be used in stage 2, these reactors are named differently. Okay, these reactors are let's say named differently, and one of that reactor has been recently inaugurated by the Prime Minister of India, and that reactor is mentioned over here, which is PFBR. Okay, it is PFBR, prototype fast breeder reactor. Okay, it is known as prototype. Here the reactor that we are going to use, okay, is known as prototype fast breeder reactor. In short, it is known as prototype fast breeder reactor. So what will happen in prototype fast breeder reactor? Basically, the amount of nuclear fuel that it will take, it is going to generate more nuclear fuel as compared to it takes, right? So that is going to be the, let's say, specialty in stage 2. Okay, that is going to be the specialty in stage 2. Apart from this, there is a third stage also. So at what stage does India exist as of today? So far we have been operating on stage 1, the stage that was planned by Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha. Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha has planned for stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. Just now, like today, it has been mentioned in news that the Prime Minister of India, right, the Prime Minister of India, he has inaugurated, right, the prototype fast breeder reactor for the first time. Means like this ushers the beginning of stage 2 of our nuclear power program in India. If we talk about stage 3, what we want to do in stage 3? Basically in stage 3, we are going to use a different type of nuclear fuel altogether. So we are going to use, let's say, plutonium-239, and it will be combined with thorium-232. Okay, here we are going to use plutonium-239 and we will use thorium, right? We will use thorium-232 here. So in stage 3, we will be having different fuels altogether. And why we are, let's say, focusing on thorium? Because let's say India has 1/3 of the reserve of thorium in the world. Let's say in the world there are 100 units of thorium. So 1/3 of that thorium is available in India. Okay, that's the thing. So that's why we want to utilize thorium for our purpose. Okay, we want to utilize thorium. However, operation of nuclear power plants that are based on plutonium is very difficult as compared to the, let's say, nuclear power plants that are based on uranium. Okay, so as of now we have started using plutonium. We are going to use plutonium and uranium-238. However, in stage 3, along with plutonium-239, we are going to use thorium-238, and which will be even more difficult. And once that capacity is attained, so India will be self-sufficient in nuclear power. So we will not be requiring, let's say, to, for example, import nuclear fuels from any other country. At this point of time, we are importing nuclear fuels related to uranium-238 and uranium-235. Right? Plutonium still needs to be imported from outside. But like we have huge reserves of thorium. So like once we start utilizing thorium, what will happen? Once we start utilizing thorium, what will happen? Like we will become self-sufficient in nuclear power. Okay, that's the thing. So this is India's 3-stage nuclear power plant. Okay. This is, just a minute. This is India's three-stage nuclear power program. All right. So who has envisioned the 3 stages? It was envisioned by Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha. This name is very important for you. Okay, Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha. So he has envisioned this 3-stage nuclear power program in India. So Prime Minister's inauguration of this thing marks the beginning of the 2nd stage of nuclear power program, and for this Government of India has created a new entity. New entity means a new organization. This is known as Bharatiya Nabhikiya Vidyut Nigam Limited. Okay, in short, this is known as Bhavani. Bharatiya, this is known as Bhavini. Okay. What is the full form of Bhavini? Bharatiya, right? Bharatiya Nabhikiya Vidyut Nigam Limited. Nabhikiya Vidyut Nigam Limited. Okay. So this entity, this organization, this company has been established as a PSU, right, by the Government of India, and it comes under Department of Atomic Energy, right? This is the thing. So here the image that you can see, it's like, Prime Minister of India is inaugurating the prototype fast breeder reactor, where we are going to use, let's say, plutonium-239, and we are going to use uranium-238. Okay, we are going to use these 2 things. So with this, now let us quickly move to another article. Okay, so this is going to be another article. So this article is related to international relations. In this article, basically, we are going to understand about bilateral relations between 2 countries. Bilateral means relation between 2 countries. And which countries we are talking about? We are talking about Russia and North Korea. Now Russia, as we know, it is the largest country in the world, largest in terms of geographical size. Apart from this, it is also one of the most powerful nation in the world, because on one side the United States of America is considered to be the most powerful nation in the world, and on the other side Russia is considered to be its rival, is considered to be equally powerful as United States of America. Long back when there was USSR, right? So USSR and United States of America were in a period of Cold War after World War II, and these 2 countries were stern rivals of one another. But soon after Russia has, let's say, waged war against Ukraine, what has happened? Many Western countries have started sidelining Russia. Means like they have started, let's say, like, putting Russia to the backside. Now what Russia has done, Russia is itself a very powerful country, right? So it does have a communist regime. And at the same time, if you talk about North Korea, which is being led by, let's say, a dictator, it is being led by a ruler of the country. And so that dictator actually, like, he is also following communism in the country. So he is, let's say, authoritarian ruler, he is a dictator type of ruler. But if you talk about Russia, in Russia elections happen. However, Vladimir Putin is considered to be one of the strongest person in Russia and in the world, because he has been ruling in Russia for more than 20 years, right? And in United States of America, so many presidents have, let's say, changed during his tenure. And what Russia says that, like, the president of America does not have power to take any decision, because he is being suggested by the bureaucrats time and again what to do, what not to do. So it highlights that Russia is a very powerful country, and Russia is a nuclear power, means like they have nuclear weapons. And if we talk about North Korea is also a nuclear power state, means like it has nuclear weapons. And these two states, these two countries started coming together because of bonhomie that the leaders from these two countries have developed, right, among themselves. So what has happened? The ruler of North Korea, right, he has invited the foreign minister from Russia. So in this article they have mentioned that one of the foreign minister of Russia, right, delegation that was led by, I think, Russian defense minister, here they have mentioned Russian defense minister, he has visited Pyongyang. What is Pyongyang? It is the capital of North Korea, right? He has visited there, and after visiting, let's say, like, they have developed good ties, good relationship. And soon after that, the ruler of North Korea have visited Russia, and after he visited Russia, he met with the president of Russia. President of Russia has gifted him a car, and this car is of the same type that the Russian president himself uses. So it is one of the most, let's say, like, most like sophisticated car ever built, right? So he has gifted that car, and after this, these two countries have started coming together. So in this article, the author has said that the partnership between these two countries, partnership between Russia and North Korea, is ever growing. Why it is growing? Because North Korea is not liked by the Western countries. It is not liked by United States of America. It is not liked by European Union. At the same time, Russia is also not liked by Western countries like USA and European Union. And these two countries, right, they have communist regime, and they have, let's say, like, power play in the, let's say, eastern part of the world. So that's why they have come together, okay? They have, let's say, built a strong ties between themselves. So in this article, basically, this article has been written by a very prominent scholar, Harsh V. Pant. So he is a, let's say, like, Vice President for Studies and Foreign Policy at the Observer Research Foundation. So he says that this is a partnership that has been forged amid common challenges and shared strategic objectives. So these two countries are facing common challenges. Russia and North Korea, okay, they are facing common challenges. Why? Because North Korea is facing challenges from South Korea. And for South Korea, United States of America is a friendly nation, okay? And Russia itself faces threat from the United States of America and other countries. So like these two countries share common challenges, they face common challenges, and that's why they have similar strategic objectives, and that has brought these two countries together. All right. So Radha Tiwari, she has asked some question. Sir, please ये class पहले ले लिया कीजिए, time हो रही है पता है please. Okay. So thank you so much for your comment, Radha. So basically we have decided to take the Hindu newspaper analysis from tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the morning. So at 10 a.m. we are going to be live on YouTube. We are going to take the discussion in the morning itself from tomorrow. Okay, so that will, let's say, like, bring timeliness to this class. Now we will talk about another article, and this article is related to, let's say, like, right of equality for the women. This article says what is in a surname. What is in a surname? So basically what happens in our society, in our country, right, a woman, let's say like, she has the surname of her parents before she gets married. Okay, let's say like she comes from a family where her father's name, let's say father's surname is Gupta, right? So that women, I mean like the girls in that family will be having surname Gupta and all. After she gets married, let's consider her husband's surname is little different, okay, than what her father's surname is. So in that case, after she gets married, her surname also changes, right? Her surname also changes. And she uses the surname of her husband, like, during her lifetime. I mean like, while they are bonded together, while they share the marital relationship with one another. But there are cases, because like, now the society is changing, it is evolving. And with evolving society, with changing society, women are demanding equality, right, from across the world, including India. And not only this, like, women also demand equality at the workplace, they demand equality at various spheres of life. But the thing is, what happens, since nowadays, both the women and the men are generally working, right? So many a case, let's say like, these people have, there can be disputes in the family that the women and the husband, like, the wife and husband, they may get separated during the course of their lifetime. Separated means they may get divorced as well. So after they get divorced, the husband does not have to change name. Husband does not change name during, let's say, before marriage, after marriage. He maintains and he maintains his own surname. But what happens with the women? After she gets married, her surname changes. But what will happen after she gets divorced, right? After she gets divorced, she will still have to use the same surname that she started using after her marriage. Means like she has to carry the surname of her husband. And there are many government forms that require her to mention the surname of her husband. But many a cases, because divorce happens after dispute arises between husband and wife. So after divorce happens, the wife no longer wants to carry the surname of her husband. But if she mentions her father's surname in, let's say, school admission forms for her children, right, the school authorities ask so many questions to her. Not only this, if she has to get a passport made in her name, then also she faces difficulty. Which surname she has to mention? Whether she has to mention the surname that she got after her marriage, or she has to mention her surname that she had before her marriage, right? So this causes a lot of difficulty to the women, right, in Indian society. So what has happened, there is a woman, right, she has filed a case in Delhi High Court. Her name is Miss Divya Modi Tongia, okay, Miss Divya Modi Tongia. And she has approached the High Court, and in the High Court she has, let's say like, discussed about the difficulties that she is facing and difficulties that other women are facing in Indian society. So she says that like in India, let's say patriarchy is there in this society. And since patriarchy is there in this society, even after divorce, right, women has to face a lot of struggle, right? What kind of struggle? Means like, the struggle related to getting anything done from the government sources where she has to mention her surname. So she has filed an application in the Delhi High Court asking the Delhi High Court to remove these constraints, to remove the patriarchy, to remove the misogyny that this society has, right, in Indian society. So basically she has said that like, in India, right, the Constitution of India gives a right to equality, and it gives right to equality under Article 14, under Article 19 and 21. Article 14 of the Constitution of India says right to equality, right? So it is like equality before the law and equal protection of the law. Article 19 is freedom of speech and expression. Under this, let's say a woman, if she wants to be let's say recognized by her father's surname, so she is free to do it, right? Freedom of speech and expression. Article 21 of the Constitution of India talks about, let's say like, this is right to life, or let's say protection of life, liberty, dignity. All these things are part of Article 21, because the Supreme Court of India has, let's say like, given multiple judgments in the past that has encompassed various things under right to life and personal liberty. This is the thing. So the women says that the very idea of an NOC, women says that like, when she goes to a government office, she has to file an NOC. She has to, let's say, get an NOC from her husband, right, that she does not want to use the surname of her husband. She says that this is a kind of, let's say, like, atrocity against the women, and she wants this to be corrected. And that's why the Delhi High Court has asked the central government of India, asked the government to give a response in this regard. Okay, so at this point of time, the Delhi High Court has not given a final judgment on this topic. However, the Delhi High Court has asked the central government to, let's say, like, submit its, let's say, to submit its response to the Delhi High Court related to this case, that what is the stand of the government, whether the women have to carry the surname of her husband or she has to carry the surname of her father, okay, after she gets divorced from her husband. So this is the topic. This topic is related to, let's say, equality, right to equality for women in this society and the difficulties that women are facing. Now we have another article. This article says TP trade-offs. Okay, so this article is related to international trade. So here we are going to talk about an organization which is known as the World Trade Organization. As we know that the World Trade Organization is the apex level body, it is the top level body, and this body is responsible for, let's say, like, facilitating international trade between different states in the world. States means countries in the world, okay. So the World Trade Organization has 164 member countries as part of it, okay. So WTO has how many countries? 164 members as part of it. And the World Trade Organization conducts ministerial conferences, right? It conducts ministerial conferences across the world in various countries. It has recently started doing so. So recently it has concluded the 13th ministerial conference in Doha, okay? So it has in Abu Dhabi. It has concluded 13th ministerial conference in Abu Dhabi. So basically the 13th ministerial conference has already happened, but it did not come up with, let's say, like, good outcomes. The 13th ministerial conference was not, let's say, it did not come up with, let's say, like, expected outcomes. Why? Because, let's say, government of India or India has been expecting some kind of ruling, some kind of decision related to, let's say, subsidies that the government of India provides to its farmers. So under World Trade Organization, under WTO, so there are various subsidies are mentioned. Various subsidies are mentioned, and these subsidies are mentioned in terms of boxes. What boxes? One type of boxes is known as green box, amber box, blue box. Basically, when we talk about amber box, right? Amber box. Here they have mentioned about subsidies that are given to the agriculture sector, okay? Agriculture subsidy, right? So basically in agriculture subsidy, the developed countries can provide subsidy to the tune of 5%, and the developing countries can give subsidy to the tune of 10%. However, in India, let's say, like, which is largely an agrarian country, here huge number of farmers are involved in agricultural practice, and more than 50% of India's population is involved in agricultural sector. Agriculture sector in India contributes about 18% to the GDP of the country. So the thing is, it is highly needed that government of India supports the agricultural sector. It supports the farmers by giving them, let's say, like, by giving them benefits, by giving them subsidies. However, subsidies are not allowed beyond 10%, okay. And government of India has been utilizing one or other loopholes that are available in the, let's say, international trading mechanism for protecting the, let's say, cause of the farmers, right? For protecting the food security in the country. So this issue has been, let's say, like, this issue has been highlighted by India in 12th ministerial conference itself. So where was 12th ministerial conference conducted? It was conducted in, let's say, it was conducted in, I think it was conducted in Davos, right? Abu Dhabi so this is Abu Dhabi. So in this article itself, they have mentioned that in 12th ministerial conference, the government of India has highlighted the cause that, like, what we need to do, we need to provide, let's say, more agricultural subsidy to the farmers. However, in 12th ministerial conference, it was not resolved, it was not decided upon. In the 13th ministerial conference also, nothing concrete has happened. Okay, so in this article basically they say that the World Trade Organization continues to struggle to foster free and fair trade. Okay, it's still struggling to let's say foster free and fair trade. So the primary role or primary work of the World Trade Organization is to facilitate free, let's say like free trade among different countries. However, it is facing difficulties, and difficulties are there at various levels. There are, let's say, structural difficulties with the WTO itself. So WTO has a dispute settlement body, as we all know. In the dispute settlement body, basically what happens, they have they need members to be appointed. However, the United States of America has been halting the appointment of member in the dispute settlement body. So virtually the dispute settlement body has become defunct. So in this article they say that World Trade Organization, which is considered to be the, let's say, enabler of world trade, enabler of free trade, right, among member countries, it is facing difficulty in, let's say, fostering free trade and fair trade among different countries. And let's say the cause of agricultural subsidy still remains, right, and it is a very important, let's say, topic for government of India. That's the thing. So with this, let us move to another article. In this article, they have discussed about a vaccine that prevents 6 cancers. Okay, a vaccine that prevents 6 cancers. Basically, in this article, they have discussed about a very important cancer which is known as cervical cancer or cervical cancer. Okay, so cervical cancer basically it affects women. Okay, it affects women, and cervical cancer generally affects women because of a virus which is known as human papilloma virus. Which virus? Human papilloma virus. Okay, papilloma virus. How this human papilloma virus, let's say, transmits to women? It transmits to women through sexual intercourse. Okay, through sexual intercourse. That's the thing. And if we talk about cervical cancer or cervical cancer, is it treatable? Yes, it is treatable, right? So it can be treated through vaccines, right? I mean, like, there can be precautionary steps that can be taken through vaccines. So in this article, basically, author has discussed about very important things related to this. One important thing is the month of January has been celebrated, or month of January 2024 has been celebrated as Awareness Month. Okay, Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. Additionally, March 4, okay, March 4, we are on March 5. March 4 is observed as International HPV Awareness Day. HPV means Human Papilloma Virus Awareness Day. March 4 means like yesterday it was celebrated or celebrated as Human Papilloma Virus Awareness Day. Okay, so like awareness is important. So in this article they have discussed that this is the 4th most common cancer among women worldwide. Which cancer? We are talking about cervical cancer. And more than 3 lakh women die every year because of human papilloma virus. And in India, this is the 2nd most, let's say affecting cancer to women after breast cancer. Okay. So in this article, they have discussed about various programs that are available in India and across the world to treat women from human papilloma virus. In this article, they have discussed about a WHO program, World Health Organization program, and that program is known as the World Health Organization's strategy that outlines 90-70-90 triple pillar intervention, okay, which we are talking about WHO's intervention, okay, WHO's intervention, which is 90, 70 and 90 intervention. What do we mean by this 90? What do we mean by 70? What do we mean by 90? All of these things are mentioned in this article. So the first 90, it says 90% of the girls must be fully vaccinated with HPV vaccine by the age of 15 years. Okay. So the first 90 says that 90% of the girls in the world, right? 90% in the girls in the world who are below the age of 15 years, they must be, right? They must be fully vaccinated with human papilloma virus vaccine. Okay. Human papilloma virus vaccine. What does this 70 mean? The 70 means 70% of the women must be screened using high performance screening test by the age of 35 and 45 and again 45. It says that in the world 70% of the women must be screened, must be diagnosed, right? There should be, let's say, screening test for 70% of the women across the world by the year of 35, by the age of 35 years. And at the age of 45 years, means after 10 years, there should be screening once again to these women. That is the meaning of 70. What does the last 90 means? In this article, they have mentioned that also. Last 90 means 90% of women detected with cervical pre-cancer and cancer license must receive treatment and care. That out of all the screening, out of all the diagnosis that we have conducted, those women who are diagnosed with the precondition for cervical cancer, those women who are diagnosed with some kind of condition related to cervical cancer, these women must be receiving the treatment. Okay, there should be treatment available. Okay, cancer lesion and must receive treatment and care. This is what is being discussed in this article. And in this article, they have also discussed about Government of India's commitment in this regard. So basically, in the year of 2023 itself, the Government of India has thought of including human papilloma virus as part of universal immunization program, right? As part of universal immunization program, what we want to do, we want to include human papilloma virus as well. And recently, the Finance Minister of India in her budget speech has discussed about that we are going to include, let's say we are going to go for treatment of cervical cancer, right? So she has allocated some budget also in this thing. So finally, in this article, the author talks about a report. And name of this report, it says Accelerating Global Health Pathways to Health Equity for the G20. Okay, so a report was recently, and this report talks about accelerating global health pathways to health equity for the G20. And also in this article, they say that two things must be ensured. What? Number one, HPV vaccination, human papilloma virus vaccination must be ensured. Apart from this, screening for precancerous lesion are two major strategies for preventing and early detection of cervical cancers and other cancers. Okay, these two things must be done. One thing is HPV vaccination, human papilloma virus vaccination. Second thing is screening must be done, right? Screening for precancerous lesions. And these are the two major strategies that should be done. One thing is vaccination of girls. Second is screening of the women. These are the two things. Apart from this, in this article, they have mentioned about, let's say, 5 other types of, let's say, similar cancerous thing that affect the women, right? So in this article, they have mentioned about the 5 other types of similar cancerous thing that affect the women. So in this article, the author says that if we include all these 6 types of cancers under one vaccination program, that's going to help the Indian women to, let's say, like, to safeguard themselves against against cervical cancer. This is the thing. So this article is very important. Okay, so you can go through this article once again to learn little more about it. Here they have talked about a body also, which is known as Federation of Obstetric Gynecological Societies of India and Indian Academy of Pediatrics. Okay, so like their members, their physicians have joined hands together to help women, right, fight the cervical cancer. Okay, this is the thing. So with this, let us now move to another article. This is going to be the last article for the day. It says RBI tasks NBBL to ensure net banking is interoperable in 2024. What do we mean by net banking? This is important. What do we mean by net banking? Net banking means internet banking. As of now, for example, you have a bank account of State Bank of India. What you need to do? You need to log in into your State Bank of India, like a net banking account. Then from there, what you can do? You can transfer money to beneficiaries who might be having bank account in other banks, okay, who might be having bank accounts with other banks. But the account that you maintain with the State Bank of India, it will remain with the State Bank of India. That is known as net banking facility. But at this point of time, right, net banking is not interoperable. It is not interoperable. So basically what Reserve Bank of India wants, it wants that net banking must be interoperable across the banking channel in the country. And for that, the Reserve Bank of India has given this task to this body, which is known as NBBL. What do you mean by NBBL? It is NPCI Bharat Bill Pay Limited. NPCI. What is NPCI? National Payments Corporation of India. Right, National Payment Corporation of India, Bharat Bill Pay Limited. So Reserve Bank of India has asked this body to speed up this particular task of making the internet banking, right, a preferred channel for payments like income tax, insurance premium, mutual fund payments, e-commerce, etc. And for that, they want to make it interoperable. Okay, this is the thing. So Reserve Bank of India governor has recently notified about this particular thing. So RBI asked NBPML to create a system that facilitates easier online payments for merchants via customers' net banking facility. This is the thing. So this is a topic from the Indian economy section. You can go through this article in your free time. Apart from this, we are going to conduct an interactive session for prelims exam in Hyderabad, and this will be taken by our renowned faculty Lakshmikant Jaibhe sir very soon in Hyderabad. Okay. So the location of this venue is mentioned. If you want to know more about it, you can contact us on this number. Alright. So that will be all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you so much Vidya and Radha. Thank you so much for joining today.